Good morning, this is Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter on the line. Not sworn in yet.
Thank you, Ms. Romero. Would you please raise your right hand then to be sworn in by the
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I cannot hear the clerk. Yes, I do. Daniel Romero, State Certified Spanish Interpreter. Your Honor, may I ask what courtroom at the jail are we connected to?
Yes, ma'am. Courtroom 2.
Okay, one moment, please.
Thank you.
Does the defendant have the headsets on?
Yes, she does.
She can hear the interpreter now, Your Honor.
Great. Thank you. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Carolina Molina Suarez.
Ma'am, this is case number 20MM3134. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness present for Miss Molina?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is that Officer Taylor?
Yes, she does have, they put her in the booth right now, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Is Sammy Roman present?
I'm here.
All right, sir. Good morning. Could you raise your right hand, please, to be sworn in by the clerk?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, sir. And do you want to have contact with Miss Molina?
Yeah, that's fine, Your Honor.
All right. Are you afraid of her?
No, I'm not. This has
Right.
been.
And you live together?
We have, and we're gonna split up and stuff. There's an explanation for this if you care to hear it, but
Go ahead.
okay. Well, first of all, since this COVID-19, my business has gone down half, and it's affected the house and life. I have a daughter that I
I'm sorry,
adopted.
Your Honor, but the interpreter cannot hear the
Okay.
witness. Maybe he's too close to the microphone.
No, it's I got my mask on. Sorry. So I was telling you, so all that's brought pressure and stuff, and I have a 14-year-old daughter that she was molested about a year ago, and they found
Okay.
the defendant guilty and everything, and ever since then, she's been promiscuous, bringing men into the house, so it's caused a lot of frictions, but she has a little boy of 8 years old, and she's really, really frightened about that, so this is all stuff that weighs on what happened. And then the day before yesterday, her friends set her up. They went to Walmart and she stole $750 worth of stuff and left her at the thing. So I went to get her and stood there for 2 hours. And the thing that broke the camel's back, she's a good person, but she chose loyalty with her friend and she stayed today. I said, after all this, you come home with me or you stay and we're done. And she chose to stay with them, but she did not hit me. I was walking out with the dirty laundry and she went to grab it. And she just grabbed me like this, trying to get the laundry thing. That's all it was. Try to get her dirty laundry.
I understand, sir. Thank you very much. Ma'am, at this time, I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact with Mr. Roman. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Did you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Because I don't want to press charges against her. So what are the what do I need to do?
Sure. So the state attorney's office is going to contact you as the listed victim in the case, and they're going to ask for your input regarding prosecution, but they're the ones who ultimately make that choice. So you'll have to explain to them, what you want to happen with the case.
Your Honor, she also has an immigration hold.
Ma'am,
I don't want her to lose this. She came from Venezuela fleeing, and she has a little boy and stuff. I don't want her to get there for some stupidity. This was
I
purely
understand.
an accident.
sure. So she hasn't been formally charged with anything. As of today, she's just been arrested, and I'm informing her of the charges. So I don't even have the ability to, you know, not have the case go forward. That's the state attorney's role. But ma'am, you do have an immigration hold at this time as well.
So what does that mean? That she has to stay here? I can't get her out?
She will not be released until the immigration hold has been satisfied.
And if you don't mind, I'm sorry taking your time, but I need to know, like, when is that gonna be? How?
I don't know. It's a federal detainer, so she'll be held until someone from immigration comes to speak with her.
And you don't know how long that'll take? Somebody.
I do not.
Have they been
I do not.
informed? Have they been informed?
Yeah.
They're the ones that place the hold.
Okay.
Okay? I'm sorry, I don't have more information for you on that.
And so there's no OR, right?
Pardon me?
That means there's no OR. She can't bond out, right?
Not until that hold, like I said, has been satisfied.
Okay.
All right?
Can I say something to her?
No, sir, you
hear me?
cannot. No, sir, you cannot. Thank you.
Okay.
The hearing's finished. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, my name is Nicolas Malagon Guzman.
Good morning. My name is Nicolas Malagon Guzman.
Mr. Guzman, this is case number 20 CF 5216. You were arrested for possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. Ms. Haley.
Yeah, and I don't see, based on the affidavit, probable cause for count one charge.
Counsel, I'm sorry, but the interpreter cannot hear you.
There's no probable cause, Your Honor, for count one, as the affidavit indicates. He was arrested for a misdemeanor.
That's right. Ms. Fusco?
Thank you.
For what purpose?
To clarify with law enforcement.
They didn't write a felony. They wrote a misdemeanor. That request will be denied. I find no probable cause as to count one. He will be ROR'd on that count. Courtney, can I place him on pretrial release?
During his interview, we were unable to qualify him due to his community ties. We can't tell if he's in Virginia or if he's staying in Orlando.
Mr. Guzman, where do you live?
Yo en este momento estoy viviendo aquí, me mudé hace una semana de Virginia acá a Orlando, pero yo no sé por qué policía me puso la dirección de Virginia.
At the present time, I'm living here. I moved here a week ago. I moved here to Orlando from Virginia, but I don't know why the officer wrote down the Virginia address.
What's your address in Orlando?
¿Cuál es?
665 Ascot Circle, Orlando, Florida. When it's the same place that I was arrested.
Mr. Guzman, you have to speak.
665
One second.
Escort Circle, Orlando, Florida. That's a place where I was arrested.
Right. Mr. Guzman, you have to speak in Spanish only, okay?
Okay, sí.
Okay, yes.
Thank you. All right, well, I'm going to do bond in the amount of $500 or pretrial release if he can qualify. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Ocasio
Thank you, Your
Trevino, is bonded.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, your name?
Kevin Andrés Ortiz Arcila. Kevin Andrés Ortiz Arcila.
Kane Andres Ortiz Arcela.
This is case number 20 CF 5217. Sir, you were arrested for possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. Ms. Haling?
Your Honor, as to count one, the affidavit doesn't provide any facts that indicates there was over 20 grams of cannabis. Actually, that you don't find any probable cause for count one. In addition, the affidavit specifically says that he's being charged for possession under 20 grams.
Ms. Fusco?
Just asked for 24 hours.
To supplement with what?
Particularly contact law enforcement.
That request will be denied. They specifically wrote that they were charging him with possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There are no facts at all in the affidavit referencing a separate quantity of cannabis. So he'll be ROR'd as to count one, and I'm going to ROR him as to count two. Mr. Ortiz, you're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Mi nombre es Juan Rivera Rivera.
My name is Juan Rivera Rivera.
All right. How about Mr. Chavez?
He's next on the docket, Your Honor, unless you want him to come first.
No, that's fine. I just don't have Mr. Rivera.
It's a status hearing. He's a
I
status
see.
hearing.
I just didn't have it. Were you just putting this in the stat to indicate it was status? Okay, no problem. Oh, I see. Got it. Okay. This is an Osceola County case, 20 CF 1073. Mr. Rivera, per Judge Morgan in Osceola County at this time, your bond is to remain as set. The Public Defender's Office will be appointed here in Orange County.
I apologize. It's the same thing. You just, it's the wrong case number.
Oh, I'm sorry. What case number do you have?
19 CF 2547.
For Nicholas Rivera?
It's Juan Rivera.
Oh, this is Rivera? No.
Yeah, Rivera. Juan Rivera.
See, look, you wrote move up next to Nicholas Rivera? Okay, that's all right. So it is Juan Rivera. Let me just clarify. I'm so sorry, sir. Could you please tell me your name again?
My name is Juan G. Rivera Rivera.
Got it. Okay, so it was just on the wrong one. It's case number 19 CF 2547.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, at this time, per Judge Morgan in Osceola County, as I said, your bond is going to remain at as set. The Orange County Public Defender's Office has been appointed to coordinate with the Osceola County Public Defender regarding your case at this time, sir. Thank you.
¿Qué va a pasar? No entiendo.
So what's going to happen? I don't understand.
Your lawyer is going to contact you, sir, regarding your case.
Ella me contestó, ella ya se comunicó conmigo y yo me fié del cargo que tengo aquí, que es resistiendo. The charge that I got here, I bond down from this charge.
You can't speak in English, sir. You can only speak in Spanish. If you need a Spanish interpreter, you need to speak in Spanish, please.
Yo me fié del caso que tengo aquí, que es resistiendo un arresto.
I bonded from the case that I have here, which is resisting arrest.
Eso fue en abril 2º.
That was on April the 2nd.
Y entonces, llevo esperando en Osceola y todavía no está pasando nada. Me tienen en espera todavía, en espera.
Un momento. So I've been waiting for Osceola, but there's nothing's happening yet.
Y ya he venido 2 veces y me dicen lo mismo, que no me van a dar fianza, no nada de nada. Entonces tengo 2 hijos que dependen de mí y tú sabes, ahora con la pandemia.
And she's come out here twice and said about bonding out, but I haven't heard anything. And I do have 2 children. This going on with the pandemic. I need to be able to get out.
Well, sir, that's a motion your lawyer's going to have to file. You are being held in the Orange County Jail on your Osceola County case. As I said, you've been appointed a lawyer and they will have to file any appropriate motions. Thank you, sir.
¿Cuánto tiempo tienen para fianza? Para AOR.
How long do I have for the ROR?
Excuse me?
¿Cuánto tiempo tienen para AOR? Para un AOR.
How long do I have before I can get an ROR?
That's a question you'll have to ask your lawyer, sir. Thank you.
Pues, ¿para qué
We're
yo vine
finished.
pa'
Thank you.
aquí?
We're done. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Tom Murphy. I'm an attorney with the law office of Corey Cohen. And Mr. Chavez is standing next to me here in the jail. We're here to ask
Yes.
the court to set a bond for him.
Good morning, Mr. Murphy. I thought that was you, but I wasn't quite sure, just given the mask.
It's me.
This is 20 CF 5035. This is Nicholas Chavez. Mr. Chavez was arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for sexual battery on a child less than 12 by a person over the age of 18, possessing material depicting sexual performance by a child greater than 10 images, and lewd or lascivious molestation, victim less than 12 years old. Both counts 1 and 3 are punishable by life felonies. And so at this time, did the state want to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. 7-year-old victim reported the defendant had touched and taken pictures of her vagina and buttocks while she was spending the night at his residence. The defendant's phone had videos showing a male touching the buttocks, anus, and vagina of a child and penetrating the victim's vagina with his fingers. 9 images of the victim's vagina and buttocks were also recovered. The videos and photos were on the date the victim said that the events occurred and located at the arrest where the victim said the events occurred. During interviews, the defendant also made incriminating admissions. The state argues that the governor asked without bond.
All right, Mr. Murphy, did you want to respond?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I could only hear little bits and pieces of what the state attorney was saying because it kind of keeps cutting out. But it sounded like it was information that's all contained within the affidavit for the arrest warrant. So that's, I guess, the information that's being presented to the court. So we would argue that, of course, the court has to find that the evidence, the presumption of guilt is great, evident, the presumption great, and that even if the court were to find that the court could, in fact, still allow him to bond out. The evidence is what it is as far as the report itself. There was you couldn't see a head or of anybody, of the child or the adult. The admissions weren't exactly as they would be by themselves in order to support the alleged crime. What was alleged to be in the photographs could definitely be that could definitely go forward to potentially supplying that, but we haven't actually seen those. So I would argue to the court that the evidence that's been presented is not necessarily beyond a reasonable doubt at this point, and certainly not the proof evident and the presumption great. However, even if the court were to find that it is in the court's discretion to set a bond amount for him.
Your Honor, the defendant did admit to the touching. He just came up with excuse for doing so, but he acknowledged he did so. But then the videos did not corroborate what his statements that he had made. But he did acknowledge doing that.
Your Honor, I can't hear the
The state, you can't hear the state.
Ms. Fuku, you have to speak into the microphone.
Okay. In the defendant's interview, he did admit to the touching. And he admitted the photos were going to be on his phone.
I mean, if perhaps the
7 years
interview is
old.
a piece of evidence that hasn't been supplied yet, I just have the affidavit for the arrest warrant where there's actually a flat denial to any sexual touching.
That's correct. He does not admit in the interview to touching her vagina, her buttocks, or her anus. He admits to touching her body, but doesn't specify what part.
But the video corroborates her statement that he has penetrated her and that he had touched her vagina, he had touched her anus, he had touched her buttocks. The video shows him penetrating her vagina with his fingers. And it's at the date and the location of his home. He's admitting to touching her.
Mr. Murphy, did you want to respond?
Only that, I mean, I guess that's, the state's assertion. It hasn't been presented in an evidentiary matter to the court. I don't see that in the affidavit, and that's the only response that I would have as far as that goes. In addition, I would just have additional things to offer as far as releasing him on a bond. But as far as the evidentiary portion, I would just go by what's in the affidavit, and I don't see any of that other stuff. I'm not sure if it's appropriate to go by just the state attorney's word as to evidence that hasn't been presented to the court.
The time that I'm referring to that she was in his home is on the last page, about 5 paragraphs up. The GPS location is the defendant's home where the images and the videos were taken. That's in the arrest affidavit, and we're not required to have all the videos and all available for the initial appearance. We just have the affidavit showing.
But the videos do not indicate the identity of any of the people in the video.
He acknowledged touching her at that time and at that place. And the videos show what touching did actually occur.
I don't find that there is proof evident or presumption great. Which is a standard that you'd have to find beyond a reasonable doubt. And based upon the limited information here, I just don't think I can say that.
Your Honor, the video showed that
Ms. Fusco, I've already ruled. Thank you. So I'm going to start with the conditions. Mr. Chavez, you are not to have any contact with the victim or her family members?
Yes,
or
ma'am.
any witnesses in this case?
Can she hear me?
Yes, yeah.
I'm sorry, is the interpreter still on the line?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm so sorry. I believe that all the Spanish cases have been concluded. You can hang up. Thank you so
Your Honor.
much.
Bye.
Sir, you are not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18.
Your Honor,
Does Mr. Chavez have a passport?
No. No, ma'am.
Your Honor, in regards to the no contact with children under 18, Mr. Chavez does have a child, his own son, that lives at his home. And he lives with his grandmother and his mother. His mother does not work. She's not here to testify today, but she would be able to. She's there all the time. Just offering that up to the court to see if there's a way that Mr. Chavez could live in the same house as his son.
Mr. Murphy, I'm going to have you file a motion regarding that to have that portion of the order modified. I would certainly want to hear from whoever is going to be in the home that would be supervising the contact.
Yes, ma'am.
And they're not present today. So it will remain at this time as no contact with anyone under the age of 18.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chavez, you're also not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm setting bond on count 1 in the amount of $100,000. Bond on count 2 is $2,500. Bond on count 3 will also be $2,500. Anything else, Mr. Murphy?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Cheryl Gretz.
Yes.
She refused. She refused to come to
Okay.
court.
All right. Ms. Hanling, I'm going to appoint your office to represent her. Did you want to waive her appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that's 20 CF 4240. She was arrested for first-degree murder with a weapon pursuant to a probable cause warrant. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant's brother came to their mother's house and found his mother deceased and his sister with scissors in her hand. The autopsy showed trauma to the front of the victim's skull, consistent with an injury caused by a pair of scissors, and an injury to the back of her head, consistent with falling backward after the strike to the front. There had been a history of medical problems with the defendant and altercations with the mother in the past. We argue there is proof evident or presumption great and ask that the defendant be held without bond.
Ms. Hanling?
Your Honor, we defer to the court.
Based upon the information that's contained in the sworn probable cause affidavit, I do not believe that there is proof evident or presumption great at this time. I'm going to order that Ms. Grow is not to possess any weapons or firearms. She's to comply with any treatment requests or recommendations. And I'm going to set bond at $100,000. Good morning. How are you today?
No record.
I'm well, thank you. Oh, hi, sir. Good morning.
Okay, for tonight.
Are you Mr. Frederick?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Frederick. This is 20 MM 2328. You were arrested for, or I'm sorry, this is your arraignment for trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance and resisting officer without violence. Was there an offer for Mr. Frederick?
Your Honor, there was an offer conveyed. However, he has pending cases with competency.
I see.
Will enter a not guilty plea this month.
Okay, and your office can file a motion if needed. Mr. Frederick, your lawyer has entered a plea of not guilty on your behalf at this time. I'm going to give you a court date, sir, okay?
She she's saying no me, yeah.
All right, Mr. Frederick, your next...
arraignment, they gave me $500 fine first time. See how long it'll take to get a court appearance.
Okay, sir, but your court date... I heard you, Mr. Frederick. Your court date's going to be June 18th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 9B. Thank you, Mr. Frederick.
What's the
Thank
day?
you. I don't know. And then I have the sign language interpreter if we want to bring Mr. Bond.
Okay.
It's Miss Velasquez, is that correct? Yes, okay. you been sworn?
We're going to get them right now, Your Honor.
Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. He needs to see you probably more than he needs to see me, so that's fine. Mr. Bond? Oh, good. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Bond.
He can't.
Can you see Miss Velasca?
No, not at all. We can only see you.
Okay, go right in front of me. How about now?
No,
Now?
we just see the top of her head.
Oh, you want to come up here? If you want to walk around, is that okay to do? I don't. Come on up. Hi, how are you? Okay, I know. How about now?
Yes, I see you.
Great. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Bond.
Oh, good morning. Good morning.
All right. This is case number 20 CF 5220. Sir, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant for sexual battery. There is probable cause, according to the warrant. I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. Sir, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
Your Honor,
I understand.
defendant penetrated the victim orally and vaginally while she was incapacitated and could not give consent.
Sorry, ma'am. I can't hear you. Sorry.
The defendant penetrated the victim orally and vaginally while she was incapacitated and could not give consent. The victim was examined at the hospital and had developed a STD, although prior to this encounter had not had intercourse in 5 years. DNA evidence was obtained from the victim's.
Ms. Fusco, she can't, she couldn't hear the last part, and maybe go a little bit slower.
Yep. With sexual battery, it just is a lot very descriptive, so I'm a little behind.
Okay. Where do you want to start out? DNA evidence?
Penetrated orally and vaginally.
While she was incapacitated and could not give consent. The victim was examined at the hospital.
Okay, tell the judge that is not true.
Okay.
That is not true. That woman is my sister-in-law.
I understand. Mr. Bond, I want to stop you just right now, okay? I'm not saying that it's true. We're just telling you what the allegations are. So I don't want you to talk about the case to me at all. You need to talk to your lawyer about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Victim was examined at the hospital. And had developed an STD. Although she had not had a sexual encounter prior to this for 5 years. DNA evidence was obtained. From the victim's clothing. The DNA in the semen that was found. The profile for the DNA matched the defendant. The state argues that there is proof evident or presumption great and asks that he be held without bond.
Yeah, and according to the statute as charged here, this crime isn't one punishable by life. It's a first-degree felony. The charge is not punishable by life. It's a first-degree felony. Based on that, Your Honor, we would ask that you set a reasonable bond.
Thank you.
You're right, Miss Haling. I was mistaken. Thank you. All right, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $50,000. Thank you, Mr. Bond. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Your name?
Vincent Sinclair.
Mr. Sinclair, you're here in 20 MM 545. You are being arraigned on the offense of resisting officer without violence. You are represented by the public defender. How would you like to proceed, Ms. Haling?
And he was just served with the summons on Monday. Based on that, he will enter a not guilty plea.
Okay. Mr. Sinclair, you're going to be in Division 82. Pretrial conference is July 6th at 10:30 a.m. in courtroom 10B. Thank you, sir. Good morning. Your name?
Royal Cambio.
Sir, you are here for a status hearing related to Brevard County. At this time, per Judge Lemonatis, your bond is to remain at none until transport returns. I'm going to appoint the public defender here in Orange County to coordinate with Brevard County, sir,
Okay.
on your case, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Doherty.
Good morning, ma'am. Your Honor.
How are you today?
I will be feeling great if you get good news.
So I think I appointed the public defender's office in Orange County last time we were here.
Yes,
And I would be inclined, based on my review of this case, to release Mr. Doherty on his own recognizance, or if he'd like to enter a plea in this matter. How many days does Mr. Doherty have in Orange County jail? Do we know that? Courtney, can you tell me how many days Mr. Doherty's been here in Orange County?
On the warrant, he was served on the 21st.
Of April?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, today's the 29th. That's 8 days. Okay. So, Mr. Doherty, what would you like to do? Would you like to go to Seminole County and resolve this, or would you just like to take care of it today?
Will that be time served?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Let's go and get it out the way.
Okay. Did you look at the plea form by chance before court
Yes,
this
ma'am,
morning?
I did. The officer gave it to me before. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the plea form?
No, ma'am. I'm pretty sure that I understand.
Okay. And you're not on probation anywhere for anything, correct?
No, ma'am. Not that I know of. No, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Doherty, I am going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 8 days in jail. You have credit for 8 days time served. You will have to pay court costs. I'm going to assess any legal costs at this time. You'll need to report to the clerk's office in Seminole County
Yes, ma'am.
regarding your court costs. They're to be paid within 1 year of today's date. Do you understand?
1 year is of day's date, ma'am. So it's
All
like
right, sir.
April
You have
of next
30
year.
April 29th of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court.
God bless you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Your name?
Nicholas Rivera.
Mr. Rivera, you are here for a status hearing related to your Osceola County case. At this time, per Judge Morgan, your bond is to remain the same. I'll appoint a public defender here in Orange County. You have counsel? Do you have private counsel, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so they're aware that you're here in Orange County, and they'll be able to coordinate with Osceola County while you remain in the Orange County jail. They're just not moving folks from Orange County to Osceola at this time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, Jonathan Colon Cruz.
All right, Mr. Colon Cruz, this is an Osceola County status hearing case. Per Judge Carson, your bond is to remain at none. I'm appointing the public defender here in Orange County to coordinate with the public defender and the people down in Osceola County regarding your case.
All right, what did you say about the bond?
It still remains at none.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Colon Cruz? He's on the ad on page 2. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Heather Giannetti.
Miss Giannetti, you are here in a Palm Beach County case for a status hearing. Your bond is to be set at $1,000 per count. You are to appear on June 5th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 11G in front of Judge Volker at the Palm Beach County Courthouse, which is 201 North Dixie Highway in West Palm Beach. That information will also be contained in the order that you'll receive when you're released from the jail, ma'am.
Okay, but I have another county, so I don't know.
You what?
I have another county that's waiting for me also.
That was supposed to be done last.
She also has a Pinellas County.
So I don't know how that's gonna work because I'm still working on this county also.
Have you been to court? Have you seen a judge on the Pinellas County case?
No.
Hold on a second.
It was supposed to do this last. I know, but he.
Do you have any local charges?
Yes,
Do you have Orange County charges as well?
yes.
Have you bonded on those cases?
I have bonds, but I can't afford them.
Okay. Maybe that's why. Gianetti. We do have the Pinellas County. We do have that case logged in on the data sheet. I just don't see that we've received a response from Pinellas County at this time. Okay? But you do have a bond now set for your Palm Beach County case.
So I can bond out in Palm Beach?
We would post the bond here, but if you still have that hold in Pinellas County, you won't be released from the jail.
Okay.
So we'll follow up on the Pinellas County. I'm still going to appoint the public defender here to represent you. That way they can follow up on the Pinellas County case as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I don't have the order. Courtney, can you see how many counts there are on the Palm Beach County case?
1 second, Your Honor.
Thank you.
It looks like 2 counts.
Okay. There's 2 counts. All right, thank you very much. All right, sir, good morning. Your name?
Walter Knight.
Mr. Knight, you're here for a status hearing out of Polk County. Per Judge Jacobson, your bond is to remain the same pending further investigation and direction or until transportation resumes, sir. I will appoint the public defender here in Orange County to represent you on this case so they can coordinate with Polk County to assist you.
Okay, so I'm waiting on transport still? Is what you're
Right. Or, you could talk to your lawyer about any other options you may have regarding the case.
So they didn't set a bond?
They did not at this time, no. Like I said, I've appointed a lawyer here in Orange to help you coordinate with the people down in Polk County.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir. That was Mr. Knight. Add on page 2. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Tommy Mitchell.
He's on page 1. Mr. Mitchell, this is a status hearing related to your Osceola County case. Per Judge Karsten, your bond will be set at $5,000. You are to report to your probation officer via phone pending your violation of probation hearing, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning. Your name?
Alan Phillips.
He's a writ, Your Honor.
Okay. What about Mr. Jeremy Griffiths?
Medical.
All right, I'll take care of that in a second. Tell me your name again, sir.
Alan Phillips.
All right, Mr. Phillips. Sir, you are here on a child support writ. At this time, you will be released on your own recognizance. Your next court date is going to be June 2nd at 2 p.m. in room 540 at the Orange County Courthouse, sir. You'll get an order with when you're released with that information, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that's it.
And then we've got Jeremy Griffiths. Miss Haley, do you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then enter plea of not guilty? And that will be Division 62 pretrial conference, June 18th at 8:30 a.m., courtroom 9B.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Carlos Raymond Seguera Torres.
Sir, you have a child support writ. At this time, you're going to be released on your own recognizance. Your next court date is June 2nd at 2:30 p.m. in room 540 at the Orange County Courthouse, sir. You'll get a copy of that information when you're released.
Okay. I'll be released today?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Hamp Jeffries.
Mr. Jeffries, you were here in 20 CF 5223. You were arrested for battery.
Yes.
One prior, domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Is there a witness for Mr. Jeffries?
They're not here today.
All right.
In the restroom, Your Honor.
Okay, well, we'll come back to Mr. Jeffries then. How about Ms. Moyes? Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Natalie Moyes.
Ms. Moyes, this is 20 CF 5236. You were arrested for second-degree murder. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. A friend of the victim had been in the apartment when an argument arose between the victim and the defendant, but stepped outside. The victim came out of the apartment then with a stab wound to his chest, asking the witness to take a photograph, and then the victim collapsed and was later pronounced deceased at RMC. The witness observed the defendant holding a black-handled kitchen knife and also described the clothing she was wearing. Law enforcement executed a search warrant and obtained the article of clothing as described by the witness and the knife. The state argues that there is proof evident or presumption great and asks that she be held without bond. Yeah, no, to the court.
All right. The state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great. Ms. Moyes, at this time, your bond is going to remain at none. You're not to have any contact with the victim's family members or witnesses in this case. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You will have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in Division 10 to see if the judge in that division would like to exercise discretion in setting you a bond. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Is Ms. Jeffries present?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Could you raise your right hand, please?
You just want to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Ma'am, do you want to have contact with Mr. Jeffries?
Yes, I do.
All right. And how long have you been married?
12 years.
Do you have any concerns about your safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No.
All right. Mr. Jeffries was drinking yesterday?
Yes.
You believe that contributed to this incident?
Yes, it does. He's an alcoholic. He needs AA. He also needs anger management.
Okay.
And he needs counseling.
I understand, ma'am. Having told me all that, you still want to have contact with him?
Yes.
And you're not afraid of him?
No.
Okay.
Related to the history, Your Honor, of domestic violence in the past, we would ask for no.
All right. Mr. Jeffries, at this time, I'm going to order that you're not have any hostile contact with your wife. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir.
I don't have any.
Could we place Mr. Jeffries on pretrial release?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to place Mr. Jeffries on pretrial release at this time. Ma'am, all of the things that you just mentioned to me about the AA and the anger management of that sort, you will need to talk to the prosecutor about that when they contact you regarding the case.
Okay.
Okay? I can't order him to anger management today.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Allison Sims.
Ms. Sims, you're here in 20 CF 5237. You were arrested for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Are there any witnesses here for Ms. Sims?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sims, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms.
Yes, ma'am. I don't have nothing like that, ma'am.
Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $150.
Yes,
Ma'am, do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
All right, and if you need to go back to the house one time with the police to get your things, you may do so.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
One moment, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Andre Walker.
Mr. Walker, you were arrested in 20 CF 5174 pursuant to a probable cause warrant for robbery and for battery. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Walker?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Walker, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need to return to the home one time with the police to get your things, you may do so. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $150. Mr. Walker, do you have any questions about the no contact order?
I wasn't staying there anyways, so I get it.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Tommy Clark.
Mr. Clark, sir, you were arrested in 20 MM 2841 pursuant to a warrant for battery domestic violence. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Clark?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Clark, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence.
Yes, ma'am.
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Can Mr. Clark be placed on pretrial release?
We were unable to verify his community ties. Did you want to court order him to PTR or set a bond in the alternative?
I'll do PTR or a $500 bond.
May he have a one-time return?
Yeah, Mr. Clark, if you need to go back to the house, you can do so one time with the police to get your things.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Chaparral Downs.
Ms. Downs, this is 20 MM 382. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Ms. Downs?
Yes, Your Honor. They're in the
All right.
booth.
Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Marcus Downs.
All right, Mr. Downs, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, after God?
I do.
All right, Mr. Downs, do you want to have contact with your wife?
No.
Okay. I know that you have children together. Do you have any concerns about her having contact with the children?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Downs, at this time, you are not to have any contact with your husband. That no contact order there in front of you does include your children. You will have to have a judge modify that order in writing before you can have contact with the children. Your lawyer will have to file a motion.
Okay, so how does that work if I work from home? I mean, my computers are set up there for me to work from home. We live in the same household. He has family where he can go stay with them. and I'm working from home. I'm the only one that's bringing in income. I'm supposed to be at work right now.
Ma'am, I could take my kids and I could stay with my parents. The only reason why I was coming back to the house was because my kids were there and I was
Okay.
concerned.
Sure. So what I'll do is I've just ordered that you have to maintain a separate residence. That doesn't mean that you can't be at the house. It just means that you can't be there if he's there. But he's just indicated he's going to stay with his parents. So there's no reason why, if he is not there, that you can't go back to the house so that you can work.
So I'm understanding that I can't have no contact with my children whatsoever.
That's correct. That has to be modified by a court, ma'am. You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're also going to need to comply with any DCF requests or investigations. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay, I'm not understanding what pretrial is, if you can explain that.
Sure. So you're going to be supervised by a pretrial release officer until your case has been resolved in court. You're going to have to call in to their office and check in, similar to probation. You won't have to post any money to get out of the jail today, but you will be supervised by pretrial release.
Okay, so how does that work if I'm working from home Monday through Friday?
You will call them from your home. It should not pose a problem, ma'am. You're going to have to call them and they'll explain everything to you. Thank you. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Anika Grace.
Ms. Grace, you're here in 20 MM 3124. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Ms. Grace?
Yes, Your Honor, they're in the booth.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name, please.
Alan Grace.
Mr. Grace, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Grace, do you want to have contact with your wife?
Yes.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you live together?
Yes.
Do you want to continue living together?
Yes.
Are there any children in the home?
Yes.
How old?
16, 15, 14, 11, and 9.
All right. Do you have any concerns about the children's safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. Ma'am, I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact with your husband. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You'll need to comply with any DCF requests or investigations, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
My name is John Gullo. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Gullo, this is 20 MM 3131. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Gullo?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things, you may do that.
Okay.
All right. Bond is going to be set at $500.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there a reason that we can't resolve the out on bond case today?
It appears that it's already set for sentencing.
Oh, really?
It says May 11th that it's set for sentencing.
So it looks like that occurred prior to the shutdown. It looks like his last court date was like May 5th, and they set him for sentencing. Let's see if it's on here. Doesn't have any notes. There's a bunch of case numbers on the plea form, so I'm just not going to take any action and let that division deal with that. Mr. Gullo, you're going to want to get in contact with the public defender who's representing you on your driving while license suspended case.
Yeah.
You are set for court in May, but I don't know what's going to be happening given that the courthouse is essentially closed.
The courthouse is closed?
Well, for non-essential hearings, yes.
Oh, 'cause I thought I was supposed to go for sentencing on the 4th or something.
You won't be coming to the Orange County Courthouse for sentencing.
No?
No.
Is that bond still in place?
Yeah, I'm not going to revoke it. But I'm just telling you, get in contact with the public defender to see where you need to be. It may be that you need to appear at the jail to take the plea. I don't know.
I got you.
But make sure that you get in contact with their office so you don't miss something you're supposed to be at.
I got you. Thank
All
you.
right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Hart?
How you doing?
Sir, this is 20MM 3129. You were arrested for assault, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Harp?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Harp, you're not to have any contact with your sister. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're allowed to go back to the house one time with the police to get your things if needed.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Jerson Maldonado.
Mr. Maldonado, this is 20MM 3133. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Maldonado?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may go back to the house with the police one time to get your things.
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is going to be $500. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Daniel Ortiz.
Mr. Ortiz, this is 20MM 3126. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
All right. Ma'am, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ma'am, do you want to have contact with Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you live together?
Yes.
How long have you been in a relationship with Mr. Ortiz?
3 years.
And have there been any other instances of violence during your relationship?
No.
And Miss Azia, was alcohol a factor in the incident yesterday?
I don't really know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I mean, he was his normal self, but his behavior was, he was just very loud and speaking vulgar, very vulgar.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to order that you're not to have any contact with Mr. Ortiz. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms, sir. You're also not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances. Bond is going to be set at $500.
Your Honor, may he have a one-time return?
Yes, sir. You may have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. afternoon, sir. Your name?
Ryan Pride.
Mr. Pride, this is 20 MM 3136. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence, and resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Pride?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, could you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, sir, please state your name.
Jeff Patterson?
All right, Mr. Patterson, do you want to have contact with your stepson?
Yes.
And do you have any concerns about him returning to the home?
No.
Do you have any concerns about anyone else's safety who may be in the home if I were to allow him to return and him to have contact with you?
I do not.
Okay. The arrest report seems to indicate that alcohol played a role in the incident yesterday. Would that be accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. In your opinion, does Ryan have an issue with alcohol?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Pride, what I'm going to do is I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact with your stepdad. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, I do.
All right. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're also not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Sir, anything else?
No.
All right, Mr. Patterson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I forgot to verify their addresses. Remind me next time. I should note. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Good afternoon. Santiago Uresti.
This is 20 MM 380. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Restima? Okay. Ms. Rios, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in by the clerk?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Ma'am, did you want to have contact with Mr. Yersima?
Yes, I do.
Are you afraid of him?
No, I'm not.
Do you live together?
We do. Let me explain a little bit. So like about 3 months ago, I had got separated from my previous relationship, and me and him have 2 kids together. So I was on the street at that point, and he offered, a place for us. So we've been living together since then, and he's been great. He's a great dad. He's helped us out a lot. I'm not working, so he's helped us out a lot. That night, I verbally instigated him a lot, honestly. We were drinking as well, so there was alcohol involved, and I was also tugging on his shirt. I feel like I instigated a lot of it as well. So I'm not afraid of him at all. I don't think that that's going to happen again. We've had a really good relationship. He's a really good friend of mine, and we have kids. And
have there been any other instances of violence in the past between the 2 of you?
Years ago there has been when we were together, but since then we've maintained a good friendship. I've seen a big change in him. Like I said, I'm not afraid of him. I know pretty much why it happened that night. I feel like I verbally instigated him a lot of it, which I'm not proud of, but I'm not scared of him at all. I don't believe it will ever happen again.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact with Ms. Rios. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms. Courtney, can he be placed on pretrial release?
Yes, he can, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rios.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Eddie Watkins.
Mr. Watkins, this is 20 MM 187. You arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Watkins?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Watkins, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms.
Okay.
You may have a one-time return to the home with law enforcement to get your things if needed. I'm gonna set bond at $500. I'm not gonna take any action or revoke your bond on the out on bond case at this time, sir.
Your Honor, he also has an additional out on bond case, an open case.
Oh, okay. What's the case number?
2019 CT 0025748.
2574?
Yes, AO.
Mr. Watkins, do you want to resolve the driving while license suspended case that you have, sir?
I'm not even aware of that case, ma'am.
Well, you're out on bond on a driving while license suspended case from 2019. It looks like it had been set for pretrial back in March, but given the COVID virus, that hearing didn't take place and it doesn't look like it's been reset. But you do have an outstanding driving while license suspended case. All right, I'm not going to take any action on it, sir. You need to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release from the jail regarding all of your cases to make sure that you don't miss court.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name? What is it?
George Zamet.
Mr. Zamet, you're here in case number 20MM101. You were arrested for battery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Zamet?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things if needed.
Yes, ma'am.
Courtney, can Mr. Zamet be placed on pretrial?
He qualifies for PTR.
Okay, good. Mr. Zamet, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
James Chambers.
Mr. Chambers, you're here in 20 CF 5231. You were arrested for possession of ecstasy and possession of oxycodone. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $150.
2,500.
2,500, that's correct, sir. However, I am going to revoke the bonds in 20 CF 495 and 19 CF 5437. Those are going to be set at none, sir. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Well, I'm confused. Like, what up? No, I'm trying to figure out, like.
Good afternoon, your name?
Leonardo Delgado.
Mr. Delgado, you're here in 20 CF 2779. Sir, you violated your conditions of pretrial release by failing to contact your pretrial release officer and attend your scheduled orientation. At this time, sir, your bond is set at $3,000. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jose Diaz.
Mr. Diaz, this is 20 CF 5234. You were arrested for carrying a concealed firearm, possession of a firearm, and the commission of a felony, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver it with a weapon, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams with a weapon, violation of a domestic injunction regarding a firearm, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Shelton.
How you doing?
I'm all right, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm not doing very well.
I bet not. This is 20 CF 5210. You were arrested for robbery, and in 20 MM 3122, you were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Shelton, you can't have any contact with Mr. Parrish. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. In 20 MM 3122, I'm going to release him on his own recognizance. Mr. Shelton, do you have any income?
Yes, ma'am.
You get a Social Security check?
Yeah, but I do get one, but I lost my card, my Direct Express card
Where are you staying?
on the street.
When is the last time you had access to your card?
About 3 weeks ago.
All right, Mr. Shelton, you need to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release from the jail. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They have a social work department who can help you get a new card.
Well, I need that.
You do?
Yes, ma'am.
For sure.
For
All right,
sure.
I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance, Mr. Shelton.
I appreciate that, Judge Your Honor.
I don't want to see you back.
Ma'am, I'm not. You got to worry about that one.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shelton.
Any action on
I
the
appreciate
RR,
that, ma'am.
Your Honor?
Yes?
Any action on the out on RR?
No. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Hugo Gonzalez.
Mr. Gonzalez, this is 20 CF 5229. You were arrested for use of an anti-shoplifting control device and petty theft. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to return to Home Depot. And I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm pretrial what? I'm sorry.
On pretrial release.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Last name?
Yes.
Hall.
What's your name?
Descartes Hall.
Mr. Hall. Sir, you are here in 20 CF 5232. You were arrested for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon and possession of ecstasy. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Hall, you're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to contact the public defender within 24 hours of your release from the jail, and you need to appear at all court dates.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Roberto
Are you Mr. Hernandez?
Hernandez.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, this is 20 CF 5225. You were arrested for burglary of an occupied structure and stalking. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to return to the scene. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Your bond on count 2 is $1,000. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Carol Littlefield.
Ms. Littlefield, this is 19 CF 12983. You failed to appear for case management conference back in January.
I've been
I'll appoint
homeless, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you if not previously appointed. I did speak to Judge O'Kane on this case this morning. Courtney, can I place her on pretrial?
She's on county probation in Seminole County, and she has a hold for the Seminole County probation.
Corona, the officer told me yesterday to ask when I went to court if I could get it all done at one court.
So, Ms. Littlefield, I suppose that you are now you're going to show up on our generated list for out-of-county hold since you came to first appearance today. What's going to happen on the Seminole County case is that we are going to reach out to Seminole County.
They did yesterday. They teletyped them while I was there, the officer.
Right. No, this is something different. So this would be court administration here reaching out to the judge on your case in Seminole County to see what they'd like to do regarding your hold.
Okay.
Whether they'd like to set a bond. Is there a bond on it, Courtney?
Both are set at no bond.
Right. So what will happen is we're going to reach out to the judge who issued the warrant in that case to see if they'd like to modify it. Once we hear back from the judge, you'll be brought back to first appearance, or if they enter an order, you could potentially be released from the jail. But as it stands now, we haven't had any communication from the judge or the lawyers on that case.
Okay.
But in any event, Courtney, can she be placed on pretrial here?
She just won't be released until that Seminole County is resolved.
Right. But instead of setting a bond for her, I would prefer her to be on pretrial.
Okay.
So that she comes back to court.
Okay.
Okay. So the Orange County case will be pretrial, ma'am. You won't be released due to the Seminole County hold. As I said, once there's a response from their that county, we'll let you know. I'm going to appoint the public defender here as well, in case anything needs to be filed. All right. Thank you, Ms. Littleford.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Charles Malik.
Mr. Malik, this is 20 CF 5221. You were arrested for possession of cocaine and soliciting without a permit. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You need to appear at all court dates and contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Samuel Paul.
Mr. Paul, you have two cases this morning. You've got 20 CF 4917 and 20 CF 5208. And 4917, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant for robbery with a firearm. I will appoint the public defender in both cases this afternoon. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard with respect to bond on the robbery with a firearm?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant pointed a handgun at the victim and told him to get on the ground or he would shoot him, and then forcibly removed his phone, wallet, ID, bank cards, and cash. The victim was able to follow the defendant and get the license plate for the car. The car was located in the name of the driver during the time of the robbery was obtained. Prints obtained from the car belonged to the defendant. The GPS in the car showed the car was in the area at the time the robbery occurred. The state argues that there is proof evident presumption great and asks that he be held without bond.
Your Honor, we defer to the court.
All right. In this matter, the state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great. Mr. Paul, bond will remain at none as to that case. In CF 5208, there's probable cause for grand theft of a motor vehicle. Bond is $1,000, sir. Thank you. Mr. Paul, excuse me, 1 second. On the robbery case, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Todrick Peterson.
Mr. Peterson, sir, you have 2 cases this morning. I'll appoint the public defender in both. In 20 CF 5212, you were arrested for possession of methamphetamine, 2 counts, and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There's probable cause. Bond on count 1 is $1,000. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $150. In the 20 MM 3123, you were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There's probable cause for that offense. You're not to return to the Supercoin laundromat. Bond is $500.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she done. I don't think Dexter. I think she done.
I'm not going to revoke the bond at this time. I'm not going to release your ROR status at this time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, your name, sir?
Theodore Polite.
Mr. Polite, this is 20 CF 5228. You were arrested for possession of cocaine with the weapon and possession of a firearm and the commission of a felony. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, you're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Shorter, you're here in 19 CF 16129. You were arrested for failing to appear at arraignment back on March 4th of this year. I did have an opportunity to speak with Judge Barber this morning, who's the presiding judge. Courtney, can I place him on pretrial release?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Shorter, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. You need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail, sir.
Okay.
Did you appoint our office?
Yes, I will. And I'm appointing the public defender, sir. I don't believe they were previously appointed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, your name?
Jordan Suarez, ma'am.
Mr. Suarez, sir, you're here in 20 CF 5233. You were arrested for possession of olazapam and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Your bond on count 1 is 1,000. Your bond on count 2 is 100. I'm not going to revoke your bond on the out on bond case.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
sir.
ma'am.
Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Yeah, tell him, man.
Mr. Tully, this is 20 CF 5201. You were arrested for robbery, resisting officer without violence, and petty theft. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is 5,000. Your bond on count 2 is 100. Your bond on count 3 is 100. You are not to have any contact with the victim or any witnesses in this case. You are not to return to the scene, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Your name?
William Tynes.
Mr. Tynes, this is 20 CF 5226. You were arrested for possession of ecstasy and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, you are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail and appear at all court dates.
You said contact my lawyer?
That's right, sir.
I'm saying, would I get the number?
There's a form there.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing?
Your name?
Christopher Connor.
Mr. Connor, you failed to appear in 14 CT 8365. There is a $2,000 bond on this case. It looks like this plea would habitualize Mr. Connor. The driving record that I have indicates that he had 2 convictions for driving while license suspended in 2017.
Yeah, Your Honor, based on that, I think it's in his best interest to speak with his attorney for resolving this case.
Okay. Does Mr. Connor have anything else here?
He's only in jail on this FTA.
All right. This is his only FTA. All right. Mr. Connor, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time, sir. You need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail, and you must appear at your next court date. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Lisa Zimmerman.
Ms. Zimmerman. You have 2 cases this morning, 20 CT 318. You were arrested for driving while license suspended.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in all the cases this morning. You were also arrested for refusal to submit to a blood or breath test after arrest, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting officer without violence.
Can I speak? At least say.
Ma'am, let me just explain something to you. I don't want you to try to explain to me what happened right now.
It's not what I'm going to do.
Okay.
On camera, I said to the officer I was willing to take a test. I did not do.
Oh, right, ma'am. But you're doing exactly what I just told you not to do. You're talking to me about the facts of your case. Okay. I just don't want you to say anything that can be used against you later.
No, I wouldn't have them charges right now if.
Ma'am, you're going to need to talk to your lawyer about it. If you have a potential defense, you'll be able to present that in court at a later date.
Okay.
As to the refusal,
Yeah.
there's no facts within the affidavit that indicates she refused in the past. So, are you driving? DUI. Sorry. Based on that, we would actually ask that you not find probable cause for the refusal.
Ms. Fusco, did you want to respond?
From my understanding, Your Honor, her behavior and her resisting was such that it's impossible for them to get her sample collected and tested.
Right, but the statute says that there has to be a prior refusal or suspension. Is there anything in the affidavit that states that she had a prior refusal or suspension? Did you see anything?
Not seeing anything in the prior suspension.
I won't find probable cause to that. Count one. No PCI count one. She'll be RO'd on that count. Count 1 is refusal. Courtney, does she qualify for PTR?
She wasn't recommended due to the open case she has in Duval County. And
Yeah, I see that.
And she also has unstable housing.
I don't have any, somebody keeps mentioning Duval County. I don't have any charges there.
Did you want to court order her to pretrial?
No, I'm.
Ma'am, if you can't follow the rules of the courtroom, you're not going to be able to stay.
I understand. I'm sorry.
Courtney, was there something else beside the Duval County case that you were saying?
Unstable housing.
Okay. Well, I'm going to place her on pretrial release. Okay. Ma'am, you are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. You're to maintain contact with your attorney and attend all court dates.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Does that mean I just get released?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Or good afternoon, I guess it is. Tell me your name.
Wendell Tomlinson.
Mr. Tomlinson, this is 20 CT 2728. You were arrested for driving while license suspended.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I don't have the right driving record for Mr. Tomlinson. This is for Dennis Tamango.
Yes, ma'am. That's because that's the, I guess that was the alias that they had me on. Wendell.
Is that an alias of yours?
They arrested me under the alias Wendell Tomlinson, ma'am. My real name, my government is Carl Dennis Tamingo.
Your government name is what?
Carl Dennis Tamingo. The alias they arrested me under was Wendell Tomlinson.
I see. Right. Mr. Tomlinson, do you want to enter a plea to this case today?
No, ma'am. But if I don't, is that a plea of no consent? If I don't enter a plea, no contest. I mean.
No, entering a plea would mean you would either enter a plea of guilty or no contest.
Okay, I don't want to enter a plea today, ma'am.
All right, sir. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You need to contact your lawyer within 20. Oh, actually, I'm going to place you on pretrial release, Mr. Tomlinson. You still need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release and appear at all court dates.
Yes, ma'am. What's the difference between pretrial release and the RR, ma'am?
You're going to be supervised in the community by a pretrial release officer until you have resolved your case.
Okay, so I have to show up to the office down there.
They're going to explain exactly what you need to do.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right, you're welcome, sir.
Yeah, no, before we move on, Miss Zimmerman, was there a case number on the review? Thank you.
Oh, there wasn't on it? Oh. Okay. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Latanya Toussaint.
Miss Toussaint, you are here in case number 20MM3132. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender in that case, and in 20MO531, you were arrested for open container. There's probable cause for that offense as well. Was there an offer for Miss Toussaint?
Adjudication of guilt, 4 days with credit time served, court cost.
Your Honor, would you accept a plea to the bench?
I would. Ms. Toussaint, did you want to enter a plea today?
No contest.
You want to enter a plea of no contest?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a chance to review the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
A little.
Like your right to have a trial by a jury, like your right to present any evidence, witnesses, or defenses on your own behalf?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, ma'am.
And are you on probation for anywhere, for anything?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You'll have to pay court costs, which are due by April 29th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come on.
White. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is 20 MM 3127. Mr. White, you were arrested for assault on a law enforcement officer and resisting officer without violence. Oh, Mr. White, I just saw you on Monday. Hey, Courtney, can we have Mr. White screened for mental health pretrial release?
Do you want to set a bond in the alternative in case he does not qualify?
I will. I'm going to state a bond. Oh, actually, I'm going to set bond on count 1 at 500, bond on count 2. I'll ROR him on that count. But I want to have him screened first. So the mental health PTR would be primary.
So mental health PTR if he qualifies, or $500 bond?
Yes, please. Mr. White, we've met now a few times, and I read the affidavit. I know that you didn't go back to the jury and I think that you have an issue with them. I understand that. So the program that I've asked someone to come talk to you about is called the Mental Health Pretrial Release Program. Because I read some facts in the affidavit that states that you're also having some issues getting your medication. They would be able to assist you with that. All right. They also may be able to assist you with some stable housing and some other services. Would that be something you'd be interested in doing?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to also make a note here, Mr. White. And I don't see anything in Mr. White's history that would disqualify him. I'm going to email the program as well and let them know that I've seen you now a couple times within the last week.
Yes.
And I think it would be beneficial for you to participate in that program. I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond cases at this time. Thank you, Mr. White.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your name?
Roberto Felix Jr.
Mr. Felix, you are here for an out-of-county warrant
Yes.
out of Seminole County for failing to appear.
Yes.
At this time, your bond is set at none. We will be reaching out to the judge assigned to your case in Seminole County to see if they'd like to modify that bond amount. When we receive a response, we'll bring you back to court to let you know what the judge said. I'll also appoint the public defender here in Orange County to be able to coordinate with everyone in Seminole County on your behalf.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your name, sir? Tell me your name.
Este Garcia Sanjet.
All right, Mr. Garcia, you are also here for an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County related to a violation of probation. As I explained to the other gentleman, at this time, we'll contact the presiding judge in Seminole County to see if they'd like to modify your bond conditions. When we receive a response, we will bring you back to court to let you know what the judge said. In the meantime, I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County so that you do have a lawyer here, and they
ma'am.
can help coordinate with Seminole County.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Can I say something, ma'am?
Sure.
I've been in Puerto Rico until 7 years ago. I served
Okay.
30 days in Puerto Rico in prison for this, and I got paperwork at my house. I got back here to Florida seven years ago approximately, and it's saying I have a violation for 2011. I wasn't even in the country. I don't understand.
So,
And then the-
Mr. Garcia, I don't have that information in front of me right now. I just have the warrant, the teletype warrant.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's something that you're certainly going to have to talk to your lawyer about, and they can help you get that squared away. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
Have a
sir.
great day.
You too. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Brandon Hall.
Mr. Hall, you are here for an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County. It's a violation of probation. At this time, your bond is set at none. As I stated, at this time, we will reach out to Seminole County to see if they'd like to modify the warrant, but you'll be appointed a public defender here in Orange County to help assist you with your case. Thank you, sir.
How long till I go back to court?
I do not know. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Inquavis Preston.
Mr. Preston, you also are here for an out-of-county warrant from Seminole County related to a violation of probation. At this time, we will contact Seminole County to see if the judge on your case would like to modify the bond amount. Once we hear back, we'll bring you back to court to let you know what the response was. In the meantime, I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County to assist you with your case.
Any action on his open case?
No. All right, sir. Why was Mr. Brown reset? We don't know. Mr. Brown, do you know why your case was reset from yesterday?
I didn't know I had one yesterday. I know I didn't appear in court previously because I mean I was here. The judge just didn't see me.
Okay, just a second.
He's being sent on the Dade County, out-of-county warrant.
All right, just one sec. I think the Judge Johnson saw him on the 9th. Courtney, you said it's Miami-Dade.
Yes, case number F15008013.
I just can't figure out. Okay, Mr. Ron, I'm sorry. I just went through all of the information I have from all of the out-of-county cases. I don't know why you were reset on today's docket because I don't have any new information out of Miami-Dade. I looked at our most updated information and we still have not heard back from them regarding your case. If they'd like to modify it, I will make a note to follow up with Miami because it looks like we were booked here on 3/6. All right, Mr. Brown, I'm going to follow up on your case, and once we hear back from Miami-Dade, I'll bring you back to court.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Margaret Harvey.
Mr. Harvey, this is 17 CF 3360. You are here for a violation of probation. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, it is alleged that you left your residence or changed your residence without getting permission, and you failed to successfully remain in or complete a drug and alcohol treatment program. At this time, your bond, sir, is set at none. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. David Reyes.
Yep. So, Mr. Reyes, you are going to be released at this time. Per Judge Rexidler, your case was completed and closed at your sentence review hearing. So you're going to be released, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Have a nice day, sir.
Your Honor, he still has his Orange County case that he has. to
Okay,
postpone.
so Mr. Reyes, I want to make sure I'm clear. You're released as to your Seminole County case. So if you have an Orange County case, you have to take care of that, or I don't know if it has a bond or what the status of that case is.
Okay.
But your Seminole County case is complete.
It is?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
That's right.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Sadie Gibson.
Ms. Gibson, you are here for an out-of-county case out of Osceola County, 18 MM 3843. Ma'am, I was informed that Judge Epperson, who was the presiding judge in your case, has approved a plea to credit time served in this matter. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you want to go ahead and accept that plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read the plea form before court this morning? You can go ahead and take a minute, ma'am. Take your time.
I read it.
Okay, do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
And you're not on probation?
No, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty. Courtney, can you tell me how many days she has here in the Orange County Jail?
She's been here on Orange County case since October of 2019. She was never served on the Osceola case.
Okay. All right, I'm going to use the credit from since she's been in Orange County then. You said it was from October 29th?
October 10th of 2019 was her book date. You want the case number that she was sentenced on?
No, I just was asking the clerks to tell me how much time that is. October 10th of 2019 until now. How many? Okay. All right, Ms. Gibson, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 203 days in the county jail. You have credit for 203 days. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due by April 29th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right. And then, Ms. Fusco, are you all set on the 33-day motions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. This is the add-on 20 CF 4026 Julio Rosa.
Yes, Your Honor, on April 23rd, there was a notice of non-filing.
That will be granted. 20 CF 4057 Alejandro Zayas.
Your Honor, on April 28th, an information was filed, filing ID 106789072.
All right, that'll be denied. 20 CF 3988 Bradley Pritchett.
Yes, Your Honor, on April 27th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. 20 CF 3931 Nathan Martin.
Yes, Your Honor, on April 28th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. 20 CF 1063 Jonathan Willis.
Yes, Your Honor, on April 28th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. All right, then I think that's all. Yes? Okay. All right, thank you to everyone at the BRC.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
You too.